But then if you write down a to-do list and then you take action, you're training your brain to say, okay, I've written something down. The next immediate action that I need to do is to do the task. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and this channel is all about being an entrepreneur and living your best life. So what I wanted to do in today's video was walk you through how to actually stick to your to-do list, because if you're anything like me, then what you might have done in the past is you have the best intentions to be super organized. You write out this amazing to-do list, you cross-check it with your digital calendar, and then everything falls to pieces. If that is you, then this is definitely going to be the video for you. And if you did enjoy it, I would very much appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up. And of course, if you are new around here, then consider subscribing. All right, so the to-do list. I just want to start by saying that one of the traits of highly successful people is commitment and organization. So if you think about it, those people who are out there building seven-figure businesses and totally bossing it, they are committed to the things that they say they're going to do, and also they're totally organized with their time. And how do you actually do that? You create an epic to-do list and you stick to what you say you're going to do. But I know for so many of us, we end up being overwhelmed or something ends up happening and the to-do list basically goes out the window. So the first piece of advice that I have for you is to not overestimate what you can achieve in a day. I love that quote where it's like, we all overestimate what we can achieve in a day and underestimate what we can achieve in a year. That's so totally true. I work with so many clients who I see their to-do lists and it's like 7 pages long, and I'm like, do you really think that you can achieve this all in one day? No, of course you can't. And then you get to the end of the day feeling really disappointed in yourself because you didn't accomplish what you set out to. So what I want you to do with your to-do list is underestimate what you're able to achieve, because there's always going to be those things that do pop up, those ideas that come into your mind, or those people that call you out of the blue and end up trying to speak for 2 hours. So think about the top priorities that you have in your business or your life or your study. Think about those top priorities, write those down first. And then throughout the day, you can add little things that do come to mind. For example, for me, something that came to mind today was that I wanted to put together a plan for the new Instagram that my assistant is going to be helping me to build for my new company. That wasn't necessarily on my to-do list and it's not really a priority, but I wrote it down anyway. But all I started today with was to have 2 client calls and to film this video. And then that is what I can realistically achieve in this day. And then everything else I'm gonna write down, but when it comes time, if I don't achieve it, that's okay. Which brings me to my next point, is to have your top priority. I work with a 90-day business cycle, which what that means is that every single 90 days I'm planning out my projects, and then my weeks are dictated by those projects, and then of course my days are dictated by those weeks. So every single 90 days I have a few core focuses. Maybe it is to relaunch my podcast, create a course, maybe it is to create a video series, maybe it's to create an opt-in, lots of different things. But every single quarter I'm going to have just a few core focuses, a few core projects, and then I'm going to be breaking down my weeks and my priorities based off of those projects. And then each day, I'm gonna be breaking down the day and my to-do list based off those priorities for the week. So what I'm trying to say here is make sure you know what your big picture goals are, broken down by the quarters of the year, and then have your daily to-do list, making sure that you are focusing on writing down those priorities first. And as I said in the previous tip is, yes, other things might come to mind that you do write throughout the day, but spend the first part of your day, whenever you sit down to work, ticking off those priorities first. My next piece of advice is just a little tip that I do have, and it is to keep your to-do list right next to you. Even though I love Asana, and you know that I've created videos about Asana in the past, I actually use Asana for my weekly to-do list, but every single day I actually write down on a piece of paper, sitting right next to me, what I need to do for the day so I can tick it off. I think it's really easy to have the best intentions to create this amazing to-do list, but if it's out of sight, it's also out of mind. So what I do is I take the things that I need to do for the day from my Asana, I write them down on a piece of paper, which is in complete eyesight of myself and my desk. I tick things off as I go along, and then I go back at the end of the day and I cross-reference with the things that I had in my Asana and then tick them off there. I'm not the type of person who gets my panties in a bunch by ticking things off, but I know it is a total jam for so many people. They love the feeling of being able to tick something off a to-do list. So if that is you, then this tip is going to help even more. But even if that's not your jam, that's fine. Just making sure that you've got your to-do list within vision of where you are working is so important for actually sticking to the things you said you were going to do. My next piece of advice is to plan some distraction time. And what I mean by that is, come on, we need to just accept the fact that there's going to be a chunk of time throughout the day where you're gonna want to scroll on Instagram. You're gonna want to get some Pinterest inspiration. You're gonna want to go on Facebook. And the thing that makes so many of us not stick to our to-do lists is because when something gets hard, maybe you're working on one of those priorities and it gets hard, what tends to happen is you procrastinate and you go over to Facebook. But here's the thing, if you actually schedule in time to be distracted, then it's less likely that when it comes time to feeling hard or feeling stuck, then you're going to procrastinate on those things. So maybe in the morning, spend 30 minutes procrastinating, schedule in that procrastination time, and maybe after lunch, spend another 30 minutes procrastinating. Then put your phone away, get it out of the room, put it in a drawer, whatever you need to do so you're not tempted to pick it up, but you also feel satisfied because you've scratched that social media itch. So schedule in your distraction time. Don't not allow yourself to do things like watching YouTube or reading your favorite news site if that's what you enjoy. But just schedule it into your to-do list. Make it a priority for your day so you can get it out of the way and then you can focus on those priorities. I always check my social media first thing in the morning to respond to comments and get back to people. And then I also spend a little bit of time after lunch and in the evening doing the same. Then for the rest of the day, I just don't look at it. I put my head down and work on the rest of the to-do list. And then my final piece of advice is just to have integrity. Now I'm gonna get a little scientific for a second, but just bear with me. Here's the thing. Every single time you say you're going to do all of these things on your to-do list and then you just don't do them, you are literally training your brain not to do things. What actually happens is our brain, the neuroplasticity of our brain, it wires together based off of specific things that we're doing. And I know this sounds super technical, but just as I said, bear with me. You may have heard the term neurons that fire together, wire together. And what that actually means is that every time you take action, whatever the outcome of that action is, your brain creates a pathway. So every single time you make a to-do list and you don't do that to-do list, your brain is creating a pathway. In the future, what's going to happen is then you're going to experience so much more resistance because you've trained your brain. You've literally wired your brain for the action to be writing the to-do list and then the second action to be not doing the tasks. So it's like you've trained your brain that every time I write a to-do list, the next action that I need to take is not to do the tasks. But then if you write down a to-do list and then you take action, you're training your brain to say, okay, I've written something down. The next immediate action that I need to do is to do the task. That's why over time, every time you break a promise to yourself or you're not self-integral, you actually make it harder for the future you to do the things that you say you're gonna do. So become the person who is committed to your to-do list. Become the person who actually takes action. And trust me, the future you will find it so much easier to do the things on your to-do list. If you are struggling just to follow through with your projects, with your business, with your social media, with all of the things that you say you're gonna do, then you might just not be wired to be someone who takes action. But you can totally change that. So from this day, from watching this video, I want you to make a commitment to yourself that whatever you write down on that piece of paper, you are totally going to make a commitment to getting it done. All right, that's it from me. I really hope that this video was helpful. I hope you got some ideas about how to better manage your to-do list. If you've got any other tips or hacks on being a to-do list ninja, then please do leave them in the comments below. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.